Absolutely. Yeah, there's no question. And
Eat better, sleep better, drink less.
right. So let's move on to the goals part of this now. I think a lot of people, especially adults, don't even, when you're 45, 50, 60 years old. I'm 45. It's a different, it's just different to set goals than when you're 20, right? You're 20, like you want the hardest, greatest, whatever career. I was all about career at 20 years old. And I mean, I wasn't fearful. I was 2 feet in, let's go. And then at 45, your life has changed a lot and you've learned a lot.
Yeah.
And so how do you suggest that adults, especially those of us in our 40s, 50s, 60s, what have you, go about setting goals for what's next?
Well, I think there's a couple things you need to know first about your mindset. That your mind is a goal-seeking machine. So you direct your brain and nervous system through your mind, and if whatever your mind is occupied with, whatever the target is. So if you're the target, or you're dwelling on, how you look in the mirror, if you're dwelling on you drank too much, or if you're dwelling on negative things, your mind thinks that's what you want to pursue, and it pursues it. It finds ways to bring your attention to that. So, if you're wandering around aimlessly, if you're drifting, if you have no energy, if you can't get out of bed in the morning, if you're turning to, these other what they call coping mechanisms, you're doing those things, you probably don't really have anything purposeful. Your mind is going, Lauren, just give me something to focus on, right?
Okay.
We got to get that straight. And that's why, you meet them all day long. I'm in New York City. I just have to walk up my building and walk to Columbus Circle, and you can see that on their faces. They're lost. They have no idea where they're going. I mean, they're going home or whatever. But what's interesting, you at 20 versus 45, when we're 20, we're not as skewed and jaded and hurt or angered or had mistakes or failures that eroded our confidence.
Sure.
We're more bold, right? But there's also something else. You're also going through different levels of self-actualization. Abraham Maslow called it your hierarchy of needs change as you get older. But to answer the question, I think really the question we have to ask ourselves every day, over and over, is what do I really want? And I think you should ask yourself that question every single day, because it causes you to point your mind to what you want. And if you keep your mind on what you want, or what brings you fulfillment or joy or happiness, or you get a paid emotional income because you provide service or something, if our mind can be turned on that every single day, we don't get distracted by all the other stuff. So I think we should be asking ourselves that: what do I really, really want? How do I want to live my life? You might not know how to do it right away. If you think about it, you go, "There's no way I can do it." But I wouldn't do that. I would just entertain some ideas, and then let the answers come to you. Because it's kind of like, I remember a lady, her name's Catherine. She's in Germany. We were doing an event together, and she was sitting on stage. She's a beautiful, lovely person. She says this flow about her. She goes, it's kind of like this. And she's sitting straight up, and she had a beautiful flowing dress, and her legs are crossed, and she's just sitting there. She goes, the universe and God, they're just sitting up there, and they're both just they're twiddling their thumbs, and they're just waiting for you to ask for what you want and direction. And they're not really busy because not a lot of people ask. I just love that, And we have to ask that. And if you just keep asking, and you keep focusing on, if you keep asking, you're going to get the same answer a lot of times. I really want to just travel all over the world and work poolside and seaside. I really, and you keep asking, it keeps coming up, and your mind focuses on it, and then your mind goes to work. Like you don't know it. see it, but in the background, it's clicking away like a like a lock. How it has tumblers, it clicks. You dial click click, and all of a sudden it clicks, and then the door opens, and you go, "Oh, I can do that," but we don't do that because we weren't taught to do that. We just sit around and talk about why we can't do it.
Yeah.
Because that's what everybody was taught to do. Go ask somebody for their opinion. You sure you'll never be able to do that? You can't do that. We should. There's a great quote. It's from. Sorry, I just want to real quick. Oh, here it is. Here, yeah, Charles Dickens from Great Expectations. Ask no questions, and you'll be told no lies. And what he was saying was, don't ask me questions, because chances are you're not going to get the facts. You're probably going to just hear some hypotheses and opinions. Well, that's not what we do. We go ask questions, and we're told a lot of lies. We shouldn't be asking other people for their opinion. The only opinion that matters is if you go inside and ask spirit, ask source. That's the best place to get your answers from, not on the outside.
No question. Yeah.
There's
a lot of freedom.
If I decide on the goal, once I decide on the goal of what I want to do, I am going to need some people that have specialized knowledge. So again, the only people you should talk to are the people that demonstrate fruits of their labor. By their fruits you'll know them. So if you want to learn how to earn more money, don't talk to poor people. Go to the people that know how to do what it is you want to do. Those are the only people you should be asking for help. Is people that by their results, by their fruits, you can see they know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, and especially I think if you look around your life, people that who have done something really well. I mean, I have a girlfriend who she's several years older than me. She has really learned about diet and nutrition and lived it. And it's, she's had some health problems along the way, fixed them. I mean, she's done so many things right when it comes to that. And so I watched her over the years, even when I was younger and I knew her, I would watch her and she's reading this book or she's doing this or she's talking about this and I realized she got a lot of information from books. She would quote books to me. And at the time I wasn't reading a whole lot. And I was like, I got to get back to reading. I'm going to start reading again. But watch those people around you who are doing things correctly and dissect that. I mean, focus in on that, learn that. And that's a skill that I try and teach my kids because it's a difference maker in life.
Yes. It's the little things, if you just make a little change, even just by a couple of degrees, it takes you down a totally different course,
Yeah. And so, when we come to goals, do you suggest we write those down, keep those in a visible place, be open to those changing? What do you suggest?
Yeah, I have a goal card. There's my goal. You can see the word my goal. Yeah. So I have it written down. It has to fit on this little card. It's got to be really crystal clear. You only have so much space. And so it's got a date on it, and it's got a goal. It's in the present tense as if I've already done it. So you always write your goals in the present tense. Now that's a mindset thing because the machine, it has to believe that the target is in existence. Okay, so your mind is like a torpedo or a missile. So when the captain orders the crew to fire the torpedo, there has to be a ship in existence. Okay, so your mind has to think, okay, this is the ship that I'm shooting for. Okay, so we have to be your mind is very specific. You got to give it a target. Like a great metaphor is the captain of a ship, right? He can only go to one port of call at a time. He knows the port of call that he's steering towards. There's all kinds of storms and wind and all kinds of things will knock the ship off course, and he just brings it back on course.
It's a great analogy.
In the present tense.
Yeah, I like that. And that phrase, I am, being the most important and telling thing in your life when you hear people say, I am this, I am that. And sometimes it's not always positive or negative, but I would also think making sure when you talk about your goals, I'm a writer, I'm a this
Yeah.
or that.
Yeah. 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 That's on
I
here too.
I heard a
Um,
motivational speaker once say that she, for years, told people, I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a motivational speaker. And she said, I did speak. I wasn't paid, but I was doing it for free. But she said, after a couple of years, then I started making huge money as a motivational speaker.
yeah.
But she said, I told people, even when I was still working other jobs to pay the bills, when people would ask
Yeah.
me what I did, she said, I would say, I am a motivational speaker. And
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
became one.
Now, when I first heard that kind of idea, I thought that's just a bunch of crap, Like it sounded like it made sense though, but that's from where I came from, my life. That's a load of crap. Only rich people say that. But then I understood. Then I found out how the mind works, and again, this machine, it operates with certain principles, and it is important to say I am. Um, and I love what you said too. So many people are saying I am not. I am this and that. It's all negative. Um, when you have kids and when you hear your kid talk negatively about themselves, it hurts you.
Hmm.
It hurts. You feel saddened. I just imagine what God's thinking. Um, the poor guy. Good thing he's not afraid of criticism or anything like that, because here you are going, I'm crap. I'm a loser. I'm not worth anything. Well, you are. So choose a different set of words at the end of I am. And if you do say it over and over, I am a motivational speaker, you will become a motivational speaker
Yes.
if you just keep enforcing it.
Yes. What's that old saying? Whether you think you can or you think you can't, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
That's correct. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Henry Ford.
Yes. Okay. I
Yeah,
didn't know those Henry Ford, but okay. Very
yeah.
appropriate. But so
He
should
quoted it too.
okay. So should our goals, when we come up with goals, I've heard people say your goals should be so big that they scare you, kind of thing. Do you agree with that?
Yes and no. I have a very big goal in this goal card, but it's not. It's actually a base camp goal. This is not Mount Everest. This is probably, I would say, base camp 3. Okay. Um, if I want to climb a mountain, I'm not going to climb Everest the first time. I have to start with smaller mountains and work my way up. And depending on your story, your situation, how you feel about yourself, you can set yourself up for failure. Like if you say to yourself, "I'm just a fat loser," I wouldn't set a goal to climb Mount Everest. Okay, but you could probably climb the hill, down the road or something. So I think you should be thinking big picture. Big picture. This is where I'm heading. This is what I'd love to. Ultimately, what I really want is I really want to climb Mount Everest. But then I got to take action. If I just sit around looking at these big goals that I don't really believe in myself, I'm probably not going to take any action. Then what I do is I chunk it down to base camp goals and short term. They're within view, but they're leading to something big. But the truth is, once I get rolling, I might change my mind about Everest. I might want to do something different that's bigger than that. But right now, it's Mount Everest. But I might say, you know what? I don't know. I want to swim across whatever. You might come with a different, bigger goal. So dream big, but set these base camp goals. Take action, and you'll get a reaction, which will pull you closer to the goal. And it's action. Action and momentum is critical. If you don't take action, you get no momentum. If you get no momentum, you get stuck pretty quick or easily.
I'm big on action. Very big on
Yeah.
action. I had a 25-year career in television news. I started this career the day after I left the station. And I had someone ask me, well, what exactly are you doing here with this new career of yours? And I said, I have no idea, but I'm starting.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I just believe in that. I just believe there's power in action. Even
Yeah.
if you go, you know what, I don't really exactly know where this is taking me, but it's taking me somewhere kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, And that's, I think that kind of segues really well into our next topic of habits,
Mhm.
because you can have the right mindset and the goals, but if you're not providing action with those, that's kind of the secret sauce, in my opinion.